Hey there, Gemini. This is your 2025 year ahead reading, and before pulling a card for each month of the year, I want to do a 3-card bird's eye view, kind of a big picture look at what 2025 means for you as a year. Obviously, we have passed January now and we're almost through February, so I will do a retrospective look at what those months meant for you on a deeper level. And then we will take it month by month and forecast what's coming through for you for the rest of this year. If you are coming back to watch this year ahead annual reading I do here on YouTube for each sign, welcome back and good to see you. Make sure you're subscribed, obviously. And secondly, if you are new and this is the first year ahead reading you're watching for Gemini, well, welcome back. And obviously make sure to subscribe too. Okay, thank you. Let's see, 3 cards for the bird's eye view, biggest themes, lessons, blessings. I really hear strongly like getting out of your head this year and into your heart, shedding certain self-limiting beliefs. You know, the South Node is in fellow Mercurial and fellow mutable sign Virgo. So you, more than many other signs, Gemini, are going to be feeling that pull towards purging with the South Node. Anything that's out or misaligned, really. Yeah, like that 2 of Swords, like right away, like not listening to your brain as much as putting a blindfold on to the outside noise. And a lot of times, right, that's coming from ourself. Like that's our own narrative, storyline, you know, monkey mind, essentially. Turning that off and coming inwards to your intuition and to your heart. That's a big thing. But I was mentioning that with the South Node in Virgo, Gemini is being called towards purging perfectionism and over-analyzing, overthinking. Obviously easier said than done. We have more Swords energy here, the Page of Swords. So there's nothing wrong with air energy. There's nothing wrong with mental processes and thinking things through and communication. And this Page of Swords, it's actually a really healthy expression of all of that because you're sharing with others. So this is a year around sharing a lot of information. This is a year about getting a message across. If any of you have ever been struggling with the throat chakra and feeling the physical ramifications of what it's like to, you know, not advocate for yourself, stay stum, you know, play small, or live a lie, not be able to speak your truth. This is the year where you seem to be more confident and more daring around your communications. Maybe it's just a big year for what you are producing or content, etc. Hanged Man, the hanging man in this case, beautiful. So there's Neptune, right, the ruler of Pisces. So South Node is transiting Virgo. We're shedding and not asserting wouldn't be the right word to use, but we're figuring out where we're in misalignment in that area of our life, the Virgo part of our chart. Conversely, Pisces North Node is where we're being beckoned towards, and it's where we're being asked to open up in more forgiveness, more grace, compassion, especially not just with others, but especially with ourselves. The Hanged Man is awaiting you, and it looks like this person. I'm just going to hide their booty because I don't know if Instagram or YouTube is a fan of that, even illustrated nudity. But they're dipping their head into the Pisces kind of cosmic ocean below, and goodness knows what they're going to find there. So prepare for some sort of awakening experience, transcendental, unconditionally loving, very spiritual, very beautiful. And yes, I love to see it. Air and water. So you're leaving behind a lot of the qualities of air that you don't really identify with anymore. That's not to say we throw logic and rationale out the window this year, but there is something to be said, at least in 2025, for you for getting in touch with your heart, your intuition, something leading the way for you. Of course, you're the person with the reins here in the Chariot, and believe me, Gemini, the Chariot would not appear to us in a reading, let alone in the first 3 cards, unless you were ready. Readiness is such a key principle of the Chariot card. It's about it's associated with like incubation. It's associated actually with like motherhood and nurturing, and even though it has this like almost masculine looking force behind it, it does, and it has this kind of complement of both of these energies. It has the complement of the internal knowing that you're ready, and only could you know you're ready if you were in good communication with yourself and taking care of yourself and meeting your own needs. And then this force, it's like the waves, the horses, this generator in the background. It really suggests that this year you're ready to take something to a major next level. 5 minutes talking about that? Okay, that was long. That was a long intro, but you know what? You've been waiting, and Gemini, if you've reached out to me and been like, where's the Gemini reading? Thank you for caring. There it is. Love that. And here it is. Let's get into it. The Tower. Oh, so the Tower flying out of the deck. The Tower is, well, it's spicy, of course. The Tower is a little bit about a reckoning, a little bit of shaking up and what is underneath the rubble. Sometimes it feels like after the crisis or the upheaval, or, you know, just the change or destabilization, is something very, very pure, something very authentic and real. And yeah, so I don't know if you're in a Tower process at the moment. Remember, like, the Tower doesn't have to hit us like a ton of bricks from the external. Oftentimes our Tower moments are very internal, of realization, sometimes psychologically unraveling and scary. But on the other side, Queen of Cups coming out of the deck, that's that further call towards the Pisces North Node, to our heart space, to lead with emotion, lead with our feeling, maybe, rather than emotions are too fickle, aren't they? They're kind of unreliable narrators, but feeling is a little bit more of an essence of something. Like, you know, you can have emotions about things, but what you're left with of a feeling of like your place in the world, a feeling of who you are and what you stand for. I think it all comes back to the throat chakra message from the Page of Swords at the beginning. Like, maybe this is the year where the Tower isn't daunting because you're in integrity and you're just like being so true to yourself. And I know that's daunting and scary at times, but I guess a feeling that I have, or a belief that I have, at least, this is just me personally, is that, like, you know, eventually, if you're true to yourself and authentic, it's like, you know, eventually you'll be rewarded. Well, maybe that's my Pisces delusion speaking, but no, I kind of feel like, if we're talking in a language of like frequency, the frequency that we emit with authentic expression will align us with a timeline, because of course our thoughts create reality, and we're thinking and we're feeling and we're doing all these things all the time. And where we put a lot of focus towards, it energetically manifests, right? But what if we've been like worst case scenario thinker, like me over here? Where does that timeline go? I find it harder to think of like these amazing things happening all the time. I can do it, but it's harder. It's not as natural to me. So what I try to work on is my own frequency and staying in a vibration of gratitude, authenticity, so that as reality plays out, you know, energy first, matter later, as matter and the physical experience plays out, my frequency matches the timeline of gratitude, authenticity, happiness, joy, forgiveness. Okay, that's how I work, you know, as a little quantum mechanic in this reality, as well as just being fucking human. Okay, so we're starting off the Seven of Cups and I'm going to leave it, I'm going to get a little bit more mundane now. Thanks for my intro. Gemini, you've got the most open mind of the zodiac, so I appreciate you allowing my Gemini Mars to express a little more. Seven of Cups for January, a little bit of a messy start to the year emotionally, just like in terms of vices and things that sort of overwhelm you. Choices that are difficult to make, you don't like any of them, messy energy. Okay, beautiful. The Sun card in February. I'm glad to see whatever that was has more or less been cleared up for you and you're feeling incredibly powerful, brave and authentic. The Sun is one of the most authentic cards of the deck. And now we have another luminary for March. I'm just covering her upper body. The Star card is coming up. Okay, beautiful. The Star card for March. That's nice for Pisces season and eclipse season to have a real signature around your goals and your aspirations and things like that. Nine of Swords, which is Mars in Gemini, like I mentioned just a minute ago in April. King of Wands in reverse for May. Six of Coins for June. Let's shuffle these up a little bit. The Ten of Cups is really beautiful popping out of the deck. Around the middle part of the year, it seems like you are focused very much on your inner world, your family, your marriage, your personal relationships, your business partnerships, your relationships, wherever, you know, this talks about. There is a family here with a dog. So this is like something, obviously it doesn't have to look like this, but something pretty close to home and pretty close to your heart. This suggests that because this is about the end of an emotional cycle, that something is occurring towards the end of the year that the middle of the year, that brings about a lot of those sort of Pisces keywords like forgiveness and overcoming and even conflict resolution and just the end of something that has been like a long-standing emotional cycle. Again, emotional cycles have highs and lows, so this doesn't mean like, oh, this has been something that's been all bad. It's just been something that has been consuming on an emotional level for you, and at the middle of the year there's an opportunity for that to kind of come to a close in a very positive way. So I like that. Let's see what the second half of the year is bringing through on the tarot. You know, that emotional, messy, stewy, soupy kind of vibe could have been very obvious to you in January with the Seven of Cups. This is a lovely Six of Wands. Okay, so great. After some sort of a setback in April and May comes a complete stabilization, probably Tower energy, just kind of balancing itself out to something that is even more sustainable, more balanced for you, more, yeah, you sustainable is definitely the word to use, but sustainable plus, like sustainable and more. The World in reverse for August. Judgment, big cards coming through, Gemini. Judgment coming through, that's like the ultimate and penultimate card of the deck, right? So yeah, huge energy. September, Two of Cups. In October, love that. Four of Swords, November, and we're flying high in December with the Eight of Wands. And here we have our Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, who we saw in your overview. So big picture, right? This is a year of a spiritual breakthrough. And then you say, oh, she says that to everybody. Nope, not quite. It makes sense because when the north and south node of our karmic past, north node of our kind of purposeful, destined dharma, I suppose, when they're in mutable signs, it's almost like a little sort of like it's a more of a condensed rev up in like connecting to your destiny and clearing karma. And the cardinal signs had that with Aries and Libra in the last cycle. Now it's time for the mutable signs to kind of speed up a little bit and catch up with where they're meant to be on a kind of evolutionary level, right? Okay, so big picture, the little things that are happening are so much more than they appear to be. And let's start with the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups tells me that in January, you were a little bit overwhelmed. That's like the, you know, that's what I could say. You were overwhelmed, you were at minimum overwhelmed. And, you know, for other more extreme situations, you felt very powerless. You felt like you were succumbing to old habits, patterns. This is like Scorpio energy. It's sort of like, and Venus, it's kind of like overindulgence in the taboo, overindulgence in vices maybe. And Scorpio is associated with like the elimination of what is impure. It is associated with the detoxification, but with that it has to sort of identify what is, air quotes, bad. And you seem to have been associating a little bit more with the bad rather than the good, but it's necessary. It's part of this sort of rebirth that's also associated with the Scorpio energy towards the Sun card, which is here and now in February. So you got clear at least on what is definitely a bad choice for you in January. Maybe like I'm leaning into the chaos, like there's baby toys scattered around here. I can't even, vacuums, and just, the house is a little disorganized at the moment because you know, my child is about to sort of start walking, but he's grabbing, he's doing all this like stuff. So I'm leaning into the mutable chaos this year. And maybe like, you know, maybe things are a little bit messy for you in January. Maybe things are just a little disheveled or I don't know, murky, messy. Maybe you've had several miscommunications with people in January, and it's not off to the clearest start. Here comes February in the Sun card. When I see major arcana cards, you've got 4. I'm going to clear them up with another card from another deck. And the Sun card would just tell me that you've had some sort of a blessing in February, and if not yet, we've still got a week or so to go, where, you know, you just really feel on top of the world, and like you could really like that kind of gravitational sort of effect of the sun, or like the kind of like pulling towards you. Maybe that's your personal gravitas, your personal warmth, but whatever it is, it kind of, Sun card really is this like sultan energy. Usually we see the Sun card with like a child or something more floral. This is something a bit more commanding, so that's very exciting. Let's pull another card to see what's going on. Okay, so the baby that I spoke of is back in the house, baby and daddy. So let's just hopefully get through this undisturbed. The Sun card, okay. Hello, Luna. I'm Kat. 4 of Swords. We also have the 4 of Swords in the month of November. So more mundanely, with the Sun card and the 4 of Swords, we're just seeing like a relaxing break, a relaxing time in the sun. Maybe in February you got to take a break. Maybe you got to visit somewhere nice and warm. I know I have a Gemini friend who is actually gone somewhere in February. So if you're watching, hey girl. This 4 of Swords is about, booking a vacation in February. You might also take this relaxing break in November. This is just a time of physical vitality being enhanced and increased, because the Sun card is, especially in this version, just, you know, feeling very strong, feeling very, feeling very mighty, I think, overall. So Davey, will you close the door? Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so the Star card coming through in March. All right, so the Star card in March. The Star card speaks to a bigger goal, vision, or aspiration being highlighted to you in the month of March. I want to clear it up as it's a major arcana card. So there's this big pileup of energy in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is associated with our dreams, with fantasy, with kind of a limitlessness. Queen of Cups, beautiful. We saw her earlier in the other deck, and I said she actually popped out of the deck to sort of say getting in tune with your heart, your feelings and your emotions. The Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck, if you are looking for a relationship this year, it seems like March is the time. And it could be friendship, it could be a healing in a family dynamic. March is a time where the floodgates seem to be open, and all of this, like even the Star card, she's pouring like this like translucent or magical looking vapor kind of something anyway, and it's just so dreamy for you in March, so romantic. But if you're looking for a significant relationship, maybe March is the time where you feel ready to open your heart more and welcome in the potential of that blessing. But I think that could be even like family expansion, that could be housing a new pet or something like that, but something that just bursts your heart wide open in the best possible way occurs in March. It's a really special month of the year, and the Queen of Cups is here collecting water, right? And it's not rushed. She could bend down, scoop all of this up and be gone on her way. That's not the point. The point is about the process of allowing her heart to be open, the process of surrendering, the process of patience, and this is the process of softening, I think. And I think it's a beautiful month, especially for those of you who are artistically inclined or inclined to care for others or inclined to want to use your heart and protect and nurture and care for. It might be a month then just to like go deeper in your relationships, open up more. If you're in a relationship, this is a time to sort of like set your sights on like what you're dreaming up of for this relationship, basically. Like, where do you want this to go? What kind of partner do you want to be? In what ways do you want to grow together? The Star card, often called the wish card, in tarot by dummies kind of a thing, but I like it. I like those simple things, it is a wish card. The North Star, you wish upon a star, it makes sense. The Star card, the Queen of Cups, a wish might come true for you in the month of March. Trust in the process. Both of these people in the cards, they're holding like a vessel that's going to be filled. Filling your own cup is important. But a dream has just popped into my head that I had last night, so there I'm going to say it, like a dream come true for you. All right, so that's amazing. We'll leave that for the moment. Okay, so April, 9 of Swords, you're like, damn it, I was so close to just living in this heart space, and the mind really is very activated for you in the month of April, and not always for the best reasons. With the Nine of Swords is the monkey mind. We see this sort of shadowy hand lurking in the background. It can be very scary, but once the lights turned on, we see that that's not the reality. That's not the reality. That's an important thing to know when the Nine of Swords energy emerges in our life. Many times it's a lot of worst case scenario thinking. It's a lot of the monkey mind. It's a lot of what ifs and potentially projecting our past experiences onto future dreams or the present reality. So just bear that in mind in April. The mind is kind of running amok. There might be true stressors and true anguish and things to be nervous and anxious about for sure, but it can tend to go overdrive at times when you see the Nine of Swords. In the reversal, the King of Wands. In the month of May, this is a particular person you deal with this year. Now, they don't have to be a fire sign. They don't have to be somebody who's outwardly very prideful or egomaniacal. With the King of Wands in reverse, you know what? Even in the reverse, the King of Wands is like tyrannical, very authoritarian, very jealous, quite spiteful. So you might be you might be dealing with somebody like that. And yeah, just to keep your awareness there, Gemini, that there's somebody pretty tricky that you're going to have to navigate, or either like put distance between you and them in the month of May. You might already in April get a sense for this, and that's what's kind of troubling you, because you might have this impending, I need to deal with this King of Wands in reverse next month, or it could be a story that's bringing, it might be coming up for you April and May. Probably part of your Hanging Man overall kind of breakthrough that you're having this year, and part of the test that comes is how to deal with this tricky person in your life. They might be somebody like a father figure, they might be a boss, they might be somebody that has this kind of, it's like a petty tyrant in your life. They seem to have this arbitrary authority, or you care what they say, or you have to answer to them, and it's just difficult. Moving through that, we've got a really kind of like steady turning point of June and July. Together we've got the Six of Coins and the Six of Wands for June and July. When we see sixes, especially side by side, I can tell you that that's a time of harmony and equilibrium. So you get what's fair to you, or you get your fair share. You get what you deserve in the most just and supportive way in the month of June. So this probably looks like financial situations being solved. This probably looks like everybody kind of being happy with an outcome, including yourself. Everyone's a winner between June and July. That bodes well with you, because there might have been like sort of power trips, ego struggles and manipulation going on in April and May. How involved you are, I'm not sure, but you're certainly aware of it, and it's pretty much a relief to see so much balanced energy, balance and success. So there's support and success, because in July this person, this is the victor, right? And it's a Leo energy too. Leo season is happening in July, so I think that this suggests that Leo season this year for you is very visible, increased popularity, increased sort of vitality, and you're shining. You could be getting a very good reception. There's a homecoming energy. There is a sort of like round of applause, and that's good. You're getting acclaimed, your reputation. You probably dealt with this very well, or maybe it's not necessarily directly linked. The World card in reverse and Judgment card. So they're very major arcana cards that are coming through in August and September. So the September eclipse season for you, with an eclipse in Pisces and an eclipse in Virgo, is going to be pretty impactful. So just know that September is probably going to be one of the most pivotal times of the year, setting in motion a chain of events that unfolds from September of this year all the way into March of next year, and then potentially even until as far as September of next year. So what's going on for you in August, September, late August and the month of September, even if on surface it doesn't seem huge, although I think with these major arcana cards it might be quite obvious to many of you, it's setting in motion a domino effect, which becomes really quite signature to your journey so far. The World card in reverse in August seems to be a finishing up of something for you. You are breaking through on an emotional level with something in June and July, a culmination of something that results in like you feeling so relieved that conflict is over, whether or not it's with the King of Wands in reverse. I don't have to carry that emotional load anymore. We have reconnected, or we have healed this. Okay. The finishing up of something that happens in August is a little bit more about accepting a defeat. It's not a failure, because everything is a blessing, right? Four of Cups in reverse, and there's the Tower. We saw the Tower come through in the other deck earlier. Okay, so this is when this happens. Rejection of the Four of Cups. I don't want, they don't want. We're negating this. The Tower, it's surprising, oh, right, yeah, okay. It's not to say you're losing your job, but maybe if you feel like by August that there's something shaky, if you feel like in whatever area of your life by August, something's afoot, something's not right, something's brewing, something doesn't feel aligned anymore, and you want to say no, or you're getting a lot of no's, or you're getting rejected, or you want to reject and negate, the Tower would suggest that something here is no longer sustainable. It has to be shaken down, broken apart, released basically, so that what you're left with, well, if the World card is the last card of the deck, what comes next? 0, the first card, the Fool, the new beginning. So with the World card in reverse, it almost implies the Fool card is present too. So this turning down, saying no, quitting, or saying like, I'm gonna just, I've put work into this, but it's just not working. There has to be an acceptance that this isn't a failure, but there is a defeating sensation in the month of August. And Judgment card, much like the Fool card in September, there's a rebirth process taking place. You needed to make some space in order for this to happen. So what's coming through? This is something that you were not always going to be ready for until this September of 2025, so bear that in mind. Page of Pentacles, and like we saw at the first instance, at the first 3 cards, Page of Swords, we did see the Page of Swords. This could be when you release that content. This is when you could use your voice in a really effective way. This is when you could start your novel, your book. This is when you could compile that course to teach or take this study. This is the Page of Pentacles. You research, you start a course, you take classes. There wasn't space for you to have. Pages are all about new experience and a beginning as well. They're very novice. They're really just excited for getting into whatever is next. And the Chariot, would you believe? We saw that in the other deck in your first 3 cards. So that first 3 card overview really comes to fruition in the month of September, where these new beginnings, new experiences, new interests, new connections, new people come into your life, and it wouldn't have been possible unless you made space for it. And that happens in the month of August, but I actually think you're preparing to make that space as early as April and May. And then, you know what, a focus on your relationships comes through, and we've seen a signature for relationships already in March, a commitment in the month of October, moving in, getting engaged, getting married, a business agreement, signing contracts together, investing together, whatever it is. If it's romantic, you're doing something that involves the relationship, communication, understanding, union. Maybe it's friendships, maybe it's family, but it's a real focus on love and happy times. And I'm running out of time because I see you. I'm running out of time because Shay is coming here. The 4 of Swords is about taking another rest in November. You know, you'll know what that's like because you're experiencing it in February. But you do need the rest because by December you're hitting the ground running with something really, really impactful, really busy. Please go to work. The baby's late for work. I can give him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll be back and then we can get it. Squeeze another hour in.
Okay, thanks, babe. Yeah. And you are not allowed the cameo appearances. And yeah, you're hitting the ground running with something pretty major in the month of December. And this is like, I mean, this is when all the moving pieces, they're still kind of in the air, they're still flying through the ether. However, there's this kind of like spring in your step, there's a lot of hopefulness there. It's like more or less just like when everything sort of comes together, and it's not brand new, but it's somewhat of an adventurous kind of an energy. Bye.